brand leaders that yes, you can listen to research, but also trust your instinct.
So
sometimes
that counterintuitive sense made it work because data said it doesn't work, but actually instinct said it would.
Instinct said it would, and I think as an industry, we need to go back to here.
How does marketing continue to shift business, influence culture, and grow brands? To get insights on these and many other questions, we had the privilege of attending the IMC conference, which was themed Marketing is Business. In this IMC conference series, we spoke to creative industry thought leaders where we asked them some of the most pressing business questions. For actionable insights which can shift your brand communication, stay tuned.
So on our flaming hot seat now, we've got Melusi Mhlungu, the founder of We Are Bizarre. Melusi, thanks so much for making time after your talk.
Thank you so much for having me.
Your talk was titled Creating the Most Interesting Brand in the Room. Firstly, maybe for people, because some people weren't here, give us a sense of how you create the most interesting brand in the room, basically, or what you were talking about.
Yeah, so I was basically talking about my journey as a creative, how, my advertising career started here in South Africa in 2015 when I won the Luri's Young Creative of the Year. I then got headhunted to go to an agency called David, the agency. And so Anselmo Ramos, who was the founder, a mentor and a friend, I said to him in my conversation with him before I left, I was like, all I want to do is become a sponge. I want to go to the world, learn, come back home, and do this to the industry, And so I left, went to Miami, and from Miami I went to Chicago. From Chicago I went to New York, worked on some of the most interesting brands globally, from Adidas to Instagram to Uber, NBA. I did 2 Super Bowl commercials. And so I took all of the learnings, and it's also the philosophy of my agency, We Are Bizarre, to say, how do you create the most interesting brands in the room through hard to ignore ideas?
I think where I should have started is congratulations on winning Nando's as their lead agency.
Thank you.
I mean, from what you've just told me, it seems long, but it's been a very short space of time from 10 years ago in 2015, as you said, winning Young Creative of the Year, to 2025, getting Nando's as your client. I mean, it's a very short space of time to have built an agency and done all of that, so congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
What I also am very interested in, because when I saw the title of your talk, I thought, is there such a thing as an uninteresting brand in a dull category?
There is, and there's many, right? I think Neil Leonard, the founder of Uncommon, speaks about this quite a lot. So I'm an advertising nerd, and I follow these guys like crazy, right? And so speaks about this thing of like 75% of brands can disappear, nobody would care. Right, and so that tells you a lot of brands are actually invisible.
Then how do you make a brand in an uninteresting dull category interesting?
Part of the talk in which what I landed on is like, if I could summarize my talk in one word, it was about trust, right? The reason why I've gotten to create some of the craziest ideas and the craziest pieces of work was because we had trust from a client. As a creative, as an agency, once you're trusted by the client, it gives you so much freedom to create. Right? And also brand leaders that yes, you can listen to research, but also trust your instinct. An interesting thing is like my second Super Bowl commercial actually didn't do well in research, but we had a brand leader and my creative director that said, should do it. And we did it. And it became one of the top performing commercials.
So that counterintuitive sense made it work because data said it doesn't work, but actually instinct said it would.
Instinct said it would. And I think as an industry, we need to go back to here. That's the best tool we all have. Instinct.
There's been, so we spoke about your Nando's win. There has been a trend of independent agencies also winning quite a number of awards, winning quite a number of clients as well, and all of that. In your view, why now? What's happening now that's making the industry so open to the independent agency or lead to the growth of the independent agency?
I just think it's one of those things where it's just an evolution of the industry. Things are changing. And so even, when you look at the industry as a whole, you've got like creatives that have now, grown up and went to become leaders. And then they realize sometimes at some point that, you know what, maybe I should back myself. And we've got more and more young people deciding to back themselves. Whereas back then, there was like big agencies and you have to work there. And those are important and they're still important now, right? But I just think these small independent agencies that are punching above their weight are making it all interesting. Because now it's no longer about like big budgets, it's about passion, who really cares about the work, who really loves the work. And it makes it's actually about to be an interesting time with the more rising independent agencies.
There's the other side to that. I mean, backing yourself as a creative, backing yourself as an independent agency. There's also the other side of the brands backing independent agencies as well. What's happening in your view on the brand side that makes them back the independent agency as much as they are right now? So,
shout out to, Nando's, for example. Like, you'd have to be crazy to say we trust this young creative with a passion, and his agency is starting out, and they're like, but there's something here, right? And that goes back to the thing we spoke about earlier on, which is like instinct. When it feels like, there's some brand leaders now who are just like, maybe it's time to give the small guys a chance.
Right.
And I hope more brand leaders are brave to do that.
Yeah.
Because maybe the work will start becoming interesting again.
Melusi, we usually have a question here on the show.
Only one?
That our guest, only one this time. There's only one left for you, unfortunately. we have a question where that our guest leaves for our next guest. So we ask our previous guest to leave a question for our next guest on their thoughts on life, creativity, marketing, or where the industry is going. And one of our previous guests was Olisa Jeshana, the Chief Creative Officer and Partner at Joe Public. The question he left was, what do you think is holding South Africa back from truly reaching our creative potential? What do you think is holding us back from truly reaching and living our true creative potential?
Jeez, that's a tough question.
Let me maybe give you a little bit of context. We were talking about award wins, how South Africa hasn't been performing well on global stages like Cannes, for instance. We performed better this year than we did last year as a country. But last year, it was slightly better this year. We brought more sort of silverware this year as a country than we did last year. So there was a little bit of improvement, but there's still the sense that we aren't living our true potential as a country on these global stages, even locally. So what's holding us back?
It's simple. The work.
Right.
All right. And if we just do better work, we'll get better results at Cannes. And this is an industry thing, and I don't know. And then there's a bigger discussion is like why we're not putting out great standard pieces of work, because the creatives are amazing. We've got no shortage of talent. And so what is the barrier then to creating great work? And to unpack that, there's lots of things you can talk about, are there budget restraints? Is there less spend? Are clients not taking risks anymore? Are we being too responsible? And there's this amazing thing that I read the other day about logic won't save your brand, and maybe we've put too much logic and lost the magic into everything that we do. And maybe if we bring back the magic, because the talent and the people are all here. I think we'll do better.
Make that change.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that I've asked you all the questions in the world, now it's your turn to ask a question. So we ask our guests, like I said, to leave a question for our next guest on their thoughts and views on creativity, marketing, where the industry is going, or even life for that matter. What would your question be for our next guest?
This is you putting me on the spot to think of things. I'm creative, but not that creative. I always answer. I don't get briefs.
You have to ask questions to answer and not to go what you do. You come up with questions all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe for me, and something that we touched on.
Yes.
A little bit earlier about independent agencies.
Yes.
And I would love the next guest to maybe unpack that a little bit more. Is what does it mean for the industry now?
Yes.
That more and more of these independent agencies and people actually, and there's more leaders becoming consultants.
Yes.
And so brands are working with individuals versus agencies, right? And so is this interesting times for the industry, or is it the worst times for the industry?
A very interesting question. And I think the thing that it kind of takes me back to is the fact that in the past, people used to back people who built agencies.
Yeah.
Almost feels like we've gone 360 back to brands backing people. As they used to in the past. Melusi, thank you so much for making time. We are looking forward to seeing more and more of your brilliant work and what you'll do with Nando's and take them to the next level, and many other brands that you'll work with. So we'll be following your work closely.
I appreciate that, my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hola.